Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Coach David Butler. Welcome back to Observations of the Spring League Week 4. Uh, Last night's game was a shootout where the Marlin prevailed. Some great highlights of it up on YouTube. Again, I picked out 5 plays that I'd like to talk about. And also, for the most part with these plays, it's the similarities that the the air raid guys use across the width and breadth of the system, regardless of the level that they play at. Speaking to Coach Dan, uh, there is really nothing more that they're doing that we don't do at our level. Literally, it's just a case of they call it and they rip it. But as always, I'll go through them and I'll talk about what I like, etc. And we'll start with the very first clip. And if you, I did post this on Twitter this morning. Oh, actually, that's on Twitter. Big fan of Cheap Install. As I said before, I've posted many videos of my own about Cheap Install and you know gaining advantages by adding and tweaking stuff all the time. If you can add a few things that they haven't seen, and it gives them your opportunity to take advantage, all the more for it. In this situation, you can see that they're in this sniffer. What I call a sniffer anyway. I don't think it's just a straight up profile matching. Whether he's situated, it's more of a sniffer type back, so that he can flash across there, or he can lead down, or he can go on a run, a route that way. Many things you can do with it, and that's why we do it. And this is what we installed in 2020. We never got to run it because of COVID, but this is one of the formations that we had put into our own offense, or my own offense, for 2020, with the proviso of stacking up the wrinkles that we can add off of it. But we'll talk about this first one because I think, in terms of cheap install, this is a cheap install that we can all do, and it literally will take zero time off of your effort to install it if you are an air raid guy or anybody, whatever you want to do. Well, you can do this within 30 seconds of practice. There really is nothing to it. But watch it through one time. We'll talk it through. Okay, really simple. That's what we did there. Okay, so in this case, the weapon of choice looks like counter. Yeah, they've got two linemen pulling. So the play itself is counter. Okay, and all he's going to do is come across. Like I say, if it was zone, he could be seeing that edge up with the slice or whatever. But the back and the line are going to run counter. He's going to pop out the other side. They all crash down on the counter. He pops open. We get a block from our wide receiver up top. We take it north and get a first down. There goes. If you already run counter, it doesn't have to be counter. It could be zone, it could be power, it could be whatever your run game is. Whatever you're running, you can add that to it with a sniffer back. You just when we talk about in the past, if you watch about crossing backs, it's the same thing. You start from a different position, and of course, if you already do multiple things from that position, it's just an easy add-on to do, and a very simple wrinkle to create. You can see there. Watch it do one more time. He's just going to flash across into the grass. I'm assuming that if he flashes down, he's gonna hand it off. But you can see that they sit. It's played well read actually from the defense. The linemen don't pull very well, but there's a gaping hole there for our fullback to fall into, and the first down. One of the biggest personal focus points for me watching when I'm doing this film, I don't know if anyone else takes it from them, but the lineman and Coach Mumby does so much more with ball in hand for the running backs. Their running backs are heavily involved in the pass game, far more so than my own, and that's something that I'm thinking about and proactively thinking about all the time. Is I need to get my backs more involved in the game because we practice them and we practice throwing to them all the time. But in terms of actual game day completions, I've gone back through years of stats, and there's not many games where our running back has like huge receiving numbers unless he's a H and he's got that dual flexibility. So that's an area that of my own that I'm working on. If you're an air raid guy, etc., I'm sure you all go through that same thing. Oh, my players getting the touches, etc., etc., etc. And in this case, I feel that I can do a better job of getting my running backs involved in the pass game, and that's one of my key points that I'm going to be taking forward. Whenever I return to coaching, whatever that may be. But what's still more before we move on? As we talk about easy install and what we're doing. So we can fake that, take it up, great block mount from Horner out of two, and he's bounces it out, and they get a first down. Really good, really simple. Okay. What I like about this is that they're empty, which I always people think that people think like formations are gimmicky, but for me, formations create opportunity and create places to impact the game in certain spots. So what I like about this is that they are basically declaring what they're going to do. This is their man across the board. I believe we've got stick there on the bottom. We've got a stick there. We've got two fades on the outside, and then up top we'll be running the double slant. The double slant is probably a theme for this video, and this is what that I'm talking about. Is that we run the same play. We run the same play here in the Midlands in England, and I'll show you in that same play wherever you're watching this from in the world. That we run the same stuff. This is like it's pro level football, but I can go out tomorrow and run this exactly the same way. That's the beauty of the air raid system, and that's the beauty of being able to install it and run it regardless of your talent and regardless of what you got. Okay, so in the situation they're going to run double slants up top, and they're going to run the stick concept down here in their variant of trips, whatever that might be. You can see that he's putting his foot down, he's running that slap there. He's going to run a slap behind it, like so. Just a great, short, sharp pass. There's no safety help because of the way they're all set up. If we take it back to where they started, okay, you can see that they are manned up across the board. There's no safety help. You can hit the outside post, but he takes the inside slant, which is one of the hardest throws to make. The shortest period in the air, but that's a tough throw to make when the body's in front of you. And it's really, well, at our level, for me anyway. Sometimes the outside slant is a lot easier to make. But he does a great job of bending back in. You can see that he's got that step on him. He could have thrown the stick. That also was open. He chose to go on the inside first slap. One for me, the toughest throw to teach in this concept. Great grab from the receiver from Putman. Takes it down and they get a first down. Watch it through one more time. If you've watched my own video on trips, creating matchable trips, this is why I move this guy around and we normally go 3-1, so that we get that one slant on the backside, which is easier. In this situation, it's two slants on the backside, and you can see that it's a great throw to get him open. He does a great job with his footwork, sending him in and then out. They've got the slant open at the top if they really wanted to throw that one late. At the bottom, they've got the stick from Y, and the two guys running them off deep. 1, 2, 3 guys open. If it's pro level, they're open. Great effort, great job to replay that. He's running in the pros. That we can run here and run where you're from. The same play. That's the beauty of it. And that's the beauty of it. Play 3. This one initially got me excited on social media this morning. But speaking to Stan, he basically says that I'm thinking this is just straight up making a wide corner. As we initially thought, the motion is just to create the space as we initially thought. So we do bring him down. They bring him down to create the matchup, get the top end of the corner of the end zone. Okay, so there's nobody there. Then our boy's going to run his wide corner. He's going to trail him and sit him in a hitch behind him. And our F or our R, whatever this back is, he's just going to run an arrow. And they read it and they run this the way they would run their regular wide corner. which will be YF back to Z. So they're looking at Y, he's covered. Z's probably going to be covered any second, and they don't get into F, doesn't go back to Z. Okay. What I do like about this play, I'm still adamant on it. I know I've spoken to Stan, and he's basically dumbing this down a little bit. But I do love that trailing ghost trail. So that basically he's going to sit in a hitch off the back of that corner or that post, depending on what he's going to run. Okay, I do really like that. He sits there. If he would have flashed out with him at the back, he might have been wide open because they occupy this space all the time when they're running all kinds of stuff in the red zone. Both defenders gravitate towards the Z. They occupy him, and then it's just a wide open throw for the F or the R, whatever they're going to call it. We call it the R, and it's a TD. Really well designed play. I believe that the motion makes this, creates a space for them. Right there, you put that corner down, which creates a space towards the pylon, and then you've got two guys running there, and he's just going to come in and fill it. Great job. And a touchdown. Again, red zone special. Lots of red zone videos in this one. Backside, you just got the running back staying home. I believe he's probably going to run a slant too. Yep. Okay. So you got corner, slant, sitting in the hitch. He's running it out. Y, R, Z. Regular wide corner. It's just ran from a emotion. Really well done. And again, the same play that we all run, that we run ourselves, which sometimes it's baffling how when we think about they're running what we're running exactly the same way at one of the highest levels possible. Mind blowing. Right, third one, again, red zone. It's a red zone special today. One of the things that we saw, if you watched last week's observation of week 3, they do the same thing in the same formation. And I do like to show clips. I don't like to show the same thing over and over again. But sometimes it's good to reinforce something. So they do this exact same thing. It's the exact same formation from around about the same spot. Okay. And you can see that he thinks he's going to run the wide corner, the commentator. He thinks he's running wide corner because they've run this wide corner several times in the red zone over the course of these 4 weeks, but usually the back's on this side. But that's what he's seen. But just like last week, we're running the double slants this side and they're running the corner up the top. So they flip it over. So it's actually Hayes' corner now. We spoke about last week how he was delaying his slant. They do that again. He's actually caught up in traffic. But he's going to run his corner. The double slants on the inside. The back stays home, not on a route at all. What I like about this is that nice short sharp slant from 82 pulls that defender in, creating that second window for our second slant. And guys, you know, sometimes we get too caught up in, we go, oh, double slant is too simplistic. It's too the defense is going to get it too often, too quickly. But when you see it like this, and you just think, you know what, it's still working. It's working here. I'll run it on a Sunday or on a Wednesday, and we think it's too simplistic running double slants. Oh, double slants is too simplistic. It's too easy to defend. But you can see, guys, right here that it still works regardless of the level. The second week in a row, they're going to score a TD in the red zone on double slants. Really, really well ran around there for me. I love the way that he breaks that short job, drags that 41 in, creating that passing lane for number 11, Ezekiel. And again, he turns his man inside out. It's a nice pitch and catch. And since week 1, this QB with this guy, he's been getting better and better and better in this system, and he really has flourished You know, he's leading the pass. He's leading the league in passing. I think he threw 5 or 6 TDs today. Some of them are bombs, which I'm not really covered on this one. But really good stuff from this offense early midway point of the season. You have to be happy where it's at. They're really ticking over nicely. He's running the corner. He's going to run that inside slant, or that Hunter hitch, as I'd call it. He's running that slant inside. He's running that slant inside. Stuff that we run here. I run this play here, and that blows my mind. Same thing, and they complete it and score touchdowns with it at the pro level. Great job again. This is the 2-point play. Okay. What I like about this, and what we spoke about the last, definitely 2 observations, is when they run the mesh these days, they're using that Y to be a pick rather than the old days when I was taught mesh, run past, you touch hands, the usual blah blah blah. But now they are literally using that Y to be that pick player. They're back in pro. We saw this exact same formation last week. They're going to run this. They're going to run the mesh. We've got this guy coming down on a shift. He's running the slant off of it. And you can see that basically he's occupying him, and they're just picking him. They're just picking him. He's taking him. He's just being his blocker. And you can see that this ball should probably be thrown a little bit earlier, like now. But he's maneuvering. He's on the run. He's mobile. Waits a little bit too long for me, but you can only throw it when you're ready, I guess. You can see he's open, and they catch the football in the end zone and make that 2. Really close call, but really well designed. I'm still really enjoying the fact that they're using that Y as a human pick, and not as a route, so to speak. Okay. Of course, if there's nobody there, they're just going to mesh and go across. But he's definitely going out of his way to be that human shield. He's running the slant. The back's running the swing, occupying this defender, and there's just grass to go into. He could have actually waited and threw it into this spot here if he wanted to, but he throws it, and it's a great catch, and takes it into overtime. Watch it one more time. I like the shift down. It's been a big focal point for me in watching the linemen in the spring league. They do a lot more shifts than I've seen before, and I do like it. Never been a big fan of it usually, but I'm into the simple shift, shall we say? Not a lot of it, just a simple shift. Or a move from the receiver. Double swings. There's the mesh. There's the pick. He's running the slant inside. Easy. Well run. Great job. Our final play of the day for the win. What I like about this play, what I've added this play, okay, this is your straight zone, okay, but they're in the red zone again, okay. If we take it back, they're in the red zone, and they're bringing this number 11 down again for the 3rd or 4th time today, and it's on film from the last 3 games that they're bringing down 3-4 times that they run this wide corner, etc., etc. So these guys are manning up across the board, okay. This guy here doesn't move. He doesn't move a muscle. He's that focused on these 2 guys. He doesn't even see this part of the play itself, the actual run play. You see the handoff's been took now, and that defender's looking at the receivers. He's not even looking at the play itself. He's so certain that ball's coming through in the air before it's too late and he scores. Okay, watch it through again. One thing I did notice on the actual play itself is the lineman is leaving the end and is taking the backer. He lets the end go. He takes the backer. They hand it off inside. He's not going to keep that ball because that would be a death sentence for the QB. So the QB is reading the end on his own read. He's going to hand it off. Okay, I don't think he's fast to keep it, so he's going to hand it off. And you can see that he blocks him, and it's a walk in the park because this guy It's not going to tell him to swivel. He's too busy looking at these two receivers. Touchdown, and that's the W for the yellow and black. Okay. Watch it one last time through. He leads inside, steals that middle. Great job there, and that gives him the cutback lane to bounce it into the end zone. Really good job from that sniffer back. So this is just zone lead for me. Great job, great job, great job. Hats on hats on hats. He gets left. They're all stuck. And he walks it in. Really good stuff. Okay, guys. Again, it's a short video. I'm just reading these observations as the season goes on. It's all getting a little bit samey at the moment, so I'm not trying to do the same clips over and over again because they are obviously, we already know the playbook is not that vast. We do run the same things a lot and a lot. But if there's a wrinkle here and there that I think that we could take away and we like or like to see, then I'll add it and we'll talk about it. And if we need to, then we'll start talking about the stuff that they run all the time and we run all every day. But for now, I'm still enjoying these observations of wrinkles, so to speak. So I'll continue to do them. So for now, I appreciate you jumping on, taking a watch, and I'll see you soon. Take care.